Hi, nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, the whole situation is basically just to converse and have a chat. That's the whole point on this. And
Yeah,
as we go along, we try and
sure.
unlock certain values relating to those subject matters that you have expertise on. You know,
Yeah,
the key thing is really unleashing that value. So people who get to consume this at some point, they understand what it is they're missing out on or what they can
yeah.
get back in return from
Mm,
all these platforms. Yeah.
mm.
So if you're happy,
You said so.
we can just go ahead with it and have a conversation. It's a two-way thing as well. So you feel free to ask me.
Um, I think what is more important is for Nigerian youth to be more conscious
Yeah.
of themselves, be more aware of who they are, they have an identity. Each person should have their own personal identity, know what exactly they want from life,
Okay.
because regardless of how the opportunities, how terrible or how challenging situations are,
Because it,
I can hear it.
it's good that way because and that's exactly what I was hoping we would talk about. I'm not a politician
Okay.
as well. I'm not into Nigeria. To
Mm,
be honest, I'm more into stuff that like that's why I was excited to talk to you because I'm a coach as well. I do a lot of mentoring as well, and so I think it
okay.
would be interesting to have that conversation so we can dig into the mindset of the Nigerian and
Yeah,
see what value is
yeah,
missing. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, just for that, what it is pretty straightforward. So I haven't got set questions per se, but what I have
Okay,
topics that I would want us to talk around, and I know
okay,
you have expertise on these topics. So topics we would
okay,
cover mentoring, we'll cover leadership, we'll talk about
okay,
attitude,
okay.
about strategizing and to get a clear
Uh,
perspective on things, and then we can talk
Fantastic.
about character mapping on a level.
Yeah,
And then we can end with creativity because I think there's a brilliant piece that you
fantastic.
wrote about creativity and the distance between being creative. I'm sorry,
And
ideation and creation and creativity. You know,
creativity
just
and innovation.
exact. Just in case, so I'm just prompting
Did
you
you
now.
read it?
Sorry.
Did you read that piece?
Oh yeah, it is. I was going to say that just in case I forget, can we make sure we talk about that today at some point? Let's bring it up because I really want to talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we might get carried away and before you know it 1 hour is gone. No, that's
I know,
okay.
I know.
Well, it's always good to have people like-minded minds on the call. So let's kick off
Mm,
with a little bit about yourself in terms of, hey, look, I know you were big with the mentoring thing. The platform is designed as such to aid people who have a voice or people who have opinions or people who have value to amplify so that collectively,
yeah,
by the time we align on one or two key things, we can look for best ways to amplify these things. This is what the
yeah,
platform tends to serve. So having
yeah,
this chats, this conversation, it helps because we can share, obviously we can amplify and then we can derive value from it. So let's look at it, Mr. Joseph Ayeni. If you can, we've got 1 2 minutes just to tell us how you see things from your own perspective and why you think, let's go into mentoring, why mentoring is key, that we can sit on mentoring for a bit before we go into leadership, or feel free to intertwine. So we were talking about
In our
mentoring.
space, we do have a lot of, yes, we do have a lot of issues in our space, and these issues surround things like people knowing who they are, people
Yeah,
not knowing what they want, question of identity.
correct.
But one common reason for that is that it's problem of education. And then we even misunderstand what
Exactly.
education should be.
Yeah,
It's people have certificates, people have degrees,
yeah,
but when you check their attitude with the degrees and the paper that they found and all of that, you
yeah,
begin to really wonder what could be the problem.
yeah.
Um, you know, I look at education in a very, very different way from how the generality of the people would imagine or think about it. Uh, now, it's difficult when you educate someone through the person is to be able to discover who you are. Who am I? Your talent first. Then your talent should be married to specific skills.
That's correct.
And then the mentality of leadership service should come in, and then drilling towards proficiency. Now, what we have is when we go to school, we are taught a lot of things that are really not relevant to our humanity, to our being.
That's right.
So it's just stereotypes that is not relevant and is not even applicable to yield results. And because of that, you find a lot of young people who have been to school, but they are not able to add value to anybody. They don't even have a sense of direction because they don't even know who they are. They are completely unaware. The consciousness is almost zero. And because of this, find out even in parenting, you have issues. The parents don't even know what to engage the children with. You know, so they rather keep them looking at cartoons, watching cartoons, instead of actually parenting, having time for the children.
Right.
Because the idea is this: the moment you begin to have children, you sort of begin to maybe put your own life on a hold, and begin to invest more of your time, more of your resources into raising that child, because that child is actually an extension of you. Okay, that child is a seed that was sown, is a fruit from your tree. Now, if you don't know that, you won't know what education to seek, what level of development to desire with which to raise that child. When the child, and every child is a product of his environment. So the children grow up with a completely wrong paradigm altogether, you know, and so when they get to a certain stage in life, they really need to be mentored.
I see.
They need to be told this is what life is. For example, we do have a lot of life coaches all over the place who don't even have an encounter with life. They don't even know what life is. You understand? And even when they read their Bibles or read whatever holy books they read, they can't apply it to the physical life that they have, because first and foremost, there's a problem of zero identity, loss of self-awareness or lack of self-awareness, and all of that. So mentorship is a key essential for in our space. And if you're not able to take a hold of that and be able to look at young people who are willing to be mentored, who are willing to be guided, young people who are ready, you know, to be consistent in following, not being, there's a question of being consistent and the question of being intense. We're not looking at intensity now. It's what you are able to do on a continuous basis to be able to actualize, to first discover yourself, then develop yourself, and then actualize yourself.
That's great. I think it's a good way to set the tone that way. Just let people know the fundamentals about mentoring. Last week, we had a conversation on the platform over the weekend, which I'm hoping at some point you would jump in. This was about mentoring as well. To get people to understand that education exists, that is fine. But outside of education, there is a structure, a mechanism that you can still there's a mechanism that you can still put in place to assist the education of an individual in form of mentoring. Where we think that there is a disconnect somewhere is because most of the people who are looked at in Nigeria as mentors, people assume they have to have these huge positions. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people assume that mentoring, if you're a mentor, you need to have this huge position. So you need to be like a community leader or doctor or top politician or someone with all this money to be a mentor. So that kind of distorts the ideal situation when a mentee is looking for a mentor in Nigeria, not knowing that, you know, someone as regular who just has empathy can actually, you know, be a very, very good mentor for an individual. I think this is where we can now look at the leadership from that point of view. Say, okay, if an individual identifies himself as or herself as a leader, should they start looking at attributes of mentoring to help with society back home?
Okay,
Opinion, though.
Aleto, if I heard you right, it's that question of our values is very essential.
Right.
The way, that's why there needs to be a shift in the mindset.
I agree.
The way the young people are raised in the environment from home, all people just see is money.
Yes.
Money. And so sometimes people don't even know. I in training, sometimes I ask this very simple question. If you have $100,000 right now, tell me 2 things you will do with it. And in after a year, you would have probably made you probably have $100,001.
Yeah.
And you will still have maintained your sanity. I find out that it's very difficult for people to relate. They begin to tell you all sorts of stuff that do not even read. So the people only think about having money. What do you want to do to sustain the money, to grow the money, to keep the money? You know, so something is missing. It's not just having the money. So the moment that mindset is not changed, we'll have a problem.
Yeah.
So what the people are looking at, they are the people who are depriving them of their commonwealth. They're looking at the politicians, they're looking at in all the wrong places. I think one of the big issues is that they don't even read. They don't engage with content. You just told me that you read my piece on creativity to innovation.
Yeah, ideation to innovation, yeah.
Yes, now when you find out how many young people who read such things, they don't even have an idea what it is. They won't even come forward to ask you questions.
Yes.
Because they have all the wrong values. And so they don't know precisely where they're going. Someone who is not aware of himself, who hasn't discovered himself, doesn't know what to develop. If you don't know where you're going, you won't know what to focus on. Vision precedes focus.
Let's look at it from the individual now, who is actually a leader, but not knowing, because of the environment again, not understanding that they should start pushing towards mentoring, because we can't do it all by ourselves. Even the government are struggling; they can't do it alone. You know, there is a time and a place for people to rise up and say, "Hey, look, okay, maybe I can give back." So. But you are now looking at a situation where there are young people looking at the politicians and looking at these people with money and say, hey, look, those are the people I want to be like. But you have individuals like yourselves and others, thousands like you, who know that this value can be cascaded out to these young people, but they lack the realization per se, you know?
Yeah.
But how does that awaken in an individual who has all the attributes that you need for leadership, but is still somehow, you know, in a slumber? You know, because those are the challenges that I think we would face at some point.
Yeah. First, the individual has to know that he needs something.
He needs or means?
He needs.
Okay.
He has to know. I have to know what I need. For example, if you don't know you're sick, you probably are not going to go for medication.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if the person is not, we're talking about the individual now.
Yeah.
If the individual is not aware, is not conscious of what he needs.
Yeah.
He won't know where to look. Okay. So this
at what point
is
does he get the awakening then? Because, you know, this is the leaders we're talking about now. At what point does the penny drop to say, oh, I have all these attributes, I need to help XYZ community?
Look at the subject of the paradigm, for example.
Right. Okay, it's a good one.
First and foremost, you will find out what is the paradigm. I want to take it from that angle.
Okay.
Okay, there are a set of programs that run within the subconscious mind. How are these programs installed?
Right.
Like the computer is from the environment. Every human being is a product of two, the gene and the environment. That's so all of the information, when you're born, what you take in information from the outside, through your eyes, through your ears, through your mouth and through your physical senses.
Yeah.
Everything is deposited into your subconscious mind, where you cannot reject anything.
Right.
Now, when that person is, sometimes at the age of 5 or 6, the child is programmed, and the child goes on like that. You keep saying that this child is a little child, is a little child. It goes to, it learns things that are completely different from who he is inside. So he doesn't even know what his needs are.
You're right.
So, but at some point, he has to come to a realization, because the outcome, the result is getting, is not what is satisfies him. Sometimes he could have all of the money, he could have made all of the resources, whether in government or in politics or in business or whatever, but he still has this thirst in them. There's something within them that tells them that, hey, you're far from being fulfilled. Accomplishment is zero. You could have all of these physical things, but something within you. So there has to be a thirst from the inside that will make the person seek.
Okay, but that thing from the inside that we're speaking of, we've gone from mentoring now, more or less defining what it is and knowing where it's missing. And this is obviously for our diaspora and the Nigerians at home. This is for the alignment. That's the key. So this guy who is a leader, or this lady who we know, for instance, have these attributes, but missing the key, missing their awakeness. If they have any inclination into mentoring, or they have empathy, is it a leadership flaw then that is missing? Sorry, is it a leadership awakening or activation that is missing? Because we know we have leaders in Nigeria, they're just sleeping on the level. You know, how does this happen that we wake them up or create things that would ignite their passion to start giving back on a mentoring level? The reason I'm saying that, because Nigeria is filled with a lot of people who are not too literate at the moment. The educational standards we know is still struggling. So the alternative is people waking up to say, you need to empower yourself, you need to actualize your dreams, you need to start getting a new kind of paradigm shift on your persona per se, right? But these leaders don't know how. How do we start to awaken the leaders within our society? We already know they're missing something.
I listened to was it the conversation you had with some guy shortly? David sent it to me, and you know, when he was talking about having engagements,
right?
When he was trying to define what politics is, and how people don't even know what politics is all about.
You're right.
Even the politicians themselves cannot even engage with the people at the grassroots and community level, and all of that. The disconnection is almost irreparable.
Yeah, you're right.
And now, when we begin to speak about leadership, we do know what leadership is. Leadership is empathy.
Yeah.
Leadership is connection.
Yeah.
Connecting, engaging with the people. Leadership is empathy. Leadership is results oriented. Yeah. Leadership is exemplary.
Yeah.
So when we say that we have leaders, I don't know what to say.
No, what I mean by that, you see, like me, for instance, I'm not saying political leaders per se.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, community within our communities, even within our families.
For example, the reason I write,
right?
The reason I post every day,
right?
Okay, and that website you see is a new website. You saw is that website is a new website. I have over 100 posts on it, and I started posting in February.
There you
go. Okay, and the website I had before was over 4 years. I had more than the number of articles, and the articles you have on this one now, okay, were developed raw. So I write daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason is for people to be able to take time, read. I share on my WhatsApp status. I share on my Facebook page. I share on the website. I share continuously, so that I'm on my own. If you don't want to know how much time I spend privately talking with young people, on the go, privately.
Okay.
So it may not just be people that others know. Like we may not be broadcasting like we're doing now.
Yeah.
If you share this video now,
Yeah.
when you record and you share it now, you'll be amazed at how many views it will have.
Yeah.
But if it's a musical video or some kind of, you know, funny BB Ninja or whatever video, you'll be amazed at the followership you're
Okay,
going to
so
have.
I think you're leaning towards orientation being wrong now.
You understand? So, and the homestead does not know any better.
Yeah, I agree. I totally see where you're coming from, and you see, we've gone full circle now. Like I said, we needed to identify what mentoring is, and then, you know, why it's important, why people should be mentored, and then we.
For example, for example, you know, I am ready always.
Yeah.
To share.
Yeah.
Always.
Which is the leadership.
Ready. Yes. The only time I'm not online is when I'm asleep.
Right. There you go.
Okay. So, but the moment I awake, I respond to all my messages. I don't know for how long anybody has been waiting.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you don't thirst, if you don't hunger, if you don't seek it,
yeah,
that value is going to add to you.
So, in essence, we are saying we do have leaders, but you know, they are not just they don't know, they don't even know what it is they need to do, basically.
Yeah.
And that is reflecting in our society. If you look at our so-called political leaders, right, a lot of them just have it talk and talk. But when it comes to the real leadership attributes, you know, the empathy, you know, the drive to lead, the passion and all that, the purpose, it seems to be missing.
Yes.
Okay.
It is missing.
I agree. It's missing, Joseph. If we look at the structure now, right, attitude plays a lot in this thing, all right? The attitude of someone willing to learn can push you towards leadership. The attitude of leaders willing to lead can push them into a high level of empathy and obviously heighten their prowess in whatever it is they do. Now, that thin attitude, I know for a fact that is one of the most underestimated words that, you know, in the whole history.
You say now.
You know, but from your point of view, you're in Nigeria. Do you think collectively we might need to start speaking more or talking more or hosting events more to help align with the right attitude of leadership by mentoring?
There has to be what you call in marketing a TOMA, top of the mind awareness.
Yeah, it's good.
So sometimes people are not. If you're walking on the road now in Lagos, or even if you're driving on the road, you can hear music blaring,
right,
from some roadside, whatever, and you're not listening. You're not intentionally listening, but you get home at night, you're trying to unwind. That thing begins to play inside of you. Yes, play back. That's the memory.
Right.
The people need to realize what they have within them. Their mental faculties.
Yeah.
Your reasoning.
Right.
Your perception.
Right.
Your intuition.
Yeah.
Your memory. Your imagination. Your will.
Right.
Okay. The people need to realize their consciousness.
Yep.
Their physical consciousness. Yep. What they take in. Now, people tell you about your thoughts leading to your words leading to action, your action leading to habits, your habits leading to character, and then defining you. But before your thoughts, what influences your thinking?
Right.
It's the information you take in.
That's right.
This is where it starts from.
It starts from what goes in.
Yeah, it starts from what goes in. Now, if you look at the people, what out of 100%, almost 90% would react the same to an issue the same way.
Yep.
Usually negatively.
Yep.
Because something, the mindset is unhealthy.
It could be a character flaw as well, but yes, you're right.
You understand? Now character is not a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Character is victory.
It is.
It's victory. Is victory over the weakness. Yes. The victory over the things, the issues that society throws at you. The people don't want to process it anymore. They just want to proceed. If you don't go through the rigors of processes with tenacity and consistency, learning the ropes, Even when you get the proceed, which they look at as money, you can't manage it because you lack the character. You didn't build the character through the process. So the mindset is wrong.
It's wrong.
The way the people, the majority are educated from the homestead, at the school, where are the teachers? Where are the parents? Now this is one thing. The children don't do what we say. They do what they see us do.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
So they sing our song, they dance our dance, they act our actions. This is what they do. They take these things in unconsciously at the point where they should be able to reject. It is at the conscious mind level. They're not able to reject. When it gets to the subconscious, it just throws up a lot of things when you reject it. Unless you deliberately engage in a shift of the paradigm. Which means
go on.
Yeah. Which means
no, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, which means that, for example, this is a computer, you want to install a new program.
Right.
And a certain program within that system is telling you that you cannot install because it's blocking it. Now either bypass or uninstall that program before you can install a fresh one.
I guess that is that you're talking about. That is what is
so
that is needed for us to engage.
So for the programs that are running within the mind of that person, in the subconscious mind, are unhealthy. His thinking is wrong.
Right.
The information he feeds himself with is wrong. So if he can't think right, he can't act right, and he can't come out right. So it has to go back to the source, the conscious mind. That's what self-thought is.
You're right.
You can't think outside. Yes, you can't think outside what it takes in.
Well, if you look at character flaws, obviously that stems from having the wrong attitude. Going again to leadership, there's an alignment that we think is probably not exhibited or showcased enough. I'm speaking to you now for the first time. I've been excited to speak to you because I've read a few of the things you've written, even on the platform here. And I remember saying to our friend that, hey, look, okay, if Joseph is the individual that I assume he is, before I speak with him, I'm more or less going to know exactly certain keywords that he would use. And obviously you've used those keywords like tenacity.
Fantastic.
And especially when you look at mentoring and leadership. Those are things that I think our society, or rather our environment back home, they don't highlight enough. So today I was just reading a piece, found out that Elon Musk started coding at 12. Bill Gates started coding at 10, and the guy
can go over and again.
10 years old. But if you look at our own kids, we don't give them those leadership empowering attributes to thrive from a vocational point of view. So we want to push them moving into having the right attitude of being a lawyer at 12 years old, which is obviously wrong because the guy might want to do something else. So look at that alignment and say, okay, as leaders in our own sphere, how do we start aligning to ensure that this narrative or this paradigm begins to shift, not just by sharing, which we're doing, but how do we start that leadership alignment as a collective from every day and in Nigeria?
Every day I engage young people. Personally, I have a plan, something I want to do I have content, I have almost inexhaustible content on all of these subjects.
Audio and video or both?
No, written.
Written, awesome, okay.
Yes, I have almost more than 30 courses on different areas in mentorship. Okay. Now, one thing that I do, oftentimes you find young people who tell you they're looking for jobs.
Right.
And I laugh. And I say that, well, it's not wrong asking for this, but one of the questions I ask is, what exactly is it that you want to do?
Yeah.
Some tell you anything. I say, you can't do anything. You have to know, you probably have an order. It comes in order of preference. 1, 2, 3 things. What you want to do. I just finished mentorship, graduating from from transiting from someone to you now,
Right.
before I came online. And I asked him to write, just do a piece of writing for me. Your 5 next moves. I said, your 5 next big moves. He said, Mr. Ayeni, I said, you have to do it. He said, can I write on something else? I said, no, this very one is one you have to engage with. So he said, he can't think of any 5. He can only think of 3. I said, okay, do those 3 and go into yourself and do an outline. Engage your own mind. Engage your consciousness.
Yeah.
Look at those things and in those areas that you are passionate about. So I told him, I said, have you tried to set a goal before?
Yep.
If you have tried to set a goal before, you know that setting the goal, the right goals, means you have to go inside of you. It's beyond just having desires.
Yeah.
I want to have this, I want to have that. You have to engage with yourself, then you have to document.
Yep.
This is the education that we don't have in our space.
You're 100% correct. I mean,
we don't have these engagements with the young people.
You're right.
We just want to send them to school, just go to school, and then come out of school and do what? I tell young people, nobody got me a job.
Right.
Nobody ever got me a job. I just knew what I wanted to do because I self-engaged from when I was little. I knew I was going to play in the education, learning, development sector of life. And I knew that I needed to do something a little bit different from what is the norm.
Yeah.
You understand? How can you teach someone something contrary to what is in them? A man's gift is what makes way for him, not his certificate.
No.
Now this person doesn't even know who he is. You sent him to school to read medicine. Okay, he's graduated from reading medicine. What next? He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He's completely disconnected.
I mean,
and education is from the word educe, from within to the without.
Exactly.
Not from without to within, which is what we do in school today.
Go on.
It's a pity. So we end up raising, we raise people who are completely ignorant about their personal identity. So on a daily basis, the young people are engaged. I try to bring this to their reckoning, to their awareness, to know that you still have a lot of work to do on yourself. And so only a few come back again.
Right.
Because they know how tough it is. It means that it's like digging a well now. You're digging for the fountain. Okay. Now, as you begin to dig, you're going to meet a whole lot of stuff, crevices, boulders, and that will discourage you.
Yeah.
If you even get to a point you meet some water, but that's not the water you're looking for.
No.
You're looking for your healing streams.
Yeah.
You're looking for your fountain. So you have to dig and dig till you get to that point. These are the critical issues that our young people lack. And it's something that we need to drive consistently. We need to have these engagements, these conversations as often as possible to create a top of the mind awareness.
Great stuff, Joseph. If you see what you said initially in terms of education, right, it comes from within, from the word, it is like you said, right? It's something that comes from inside. Right. If you can't fathom what you want to be from inside, how do you now lead yourself? Right.
Yes. Self-leadership, fantastic.
Exactly. The alignment in leadership that I think we should maybe on a level, especially guys out here in the diaspora and in Nigeria who have assumed that position of self-actualization and realizing what is missing. I think alignment in that kind of leadership, a specific form of leadership, should be activated somehow. That's my own position and things, simply because since we've been engaging and talking to other people, you're finding that, whoa, there's so many people that are like-minded, especially us Nigerians. We think alike, we want the same hope, but we're just doing it in individual space. We're doing it in different silos. You know? And I'm speaking to you now, it's like music to my ears, because you're saying everything that I more or less already know and I'm aligned with, but
it's inside of you.
It's been a while since I heard a Nigerian talk to me like this. Mostly I hear this from seminars, you know, I hear this from seminars with white people, seminars from Asians. But when it comes to our Nigerian space, if you're not a pastor, if you're not an imam, it looks like nobody wants to listen to what you have to say when it comes to empathy, right? That leadership alignment, you know, based brings out the right attitude, obviously, in the leader and the guys to be mentoring. Now, let's put a perspective to that now, right? I know you write a lot, so there must be a strategy that you think, or rather a strategy that you can unleash to create a better perception of your own reality, and that can empower people. How do we start thinking on that?
Okay, Aleto. When I do long posts, you find out that not a lot of people engage with it. Those who engage are more foreign. So what I now do, you see those short quotes I do, those short picture quotes.
Right.
That's what made me graduate from those short picture quotes into from the long writings into the picture quotes. So that, and even at that, you don't find much engagement. I do know that a lot of people read, but they probably will not engage or come forward to make a comment or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a plan. It's not something I would rather want to divulge. But just to give you an idea, what is it that we can do maybe on a yearly basis to say, okay, we have this specific content, want to teach leadership, and under leadership, want to talk about self-leadership, self-development, want to talk about self-actualization, want to teach goal setting, want to teach creativity, traveling from creativity to innovation, want to teach, all of those thoughts and all of those ideas, and we say we want to deliver to 50 qualified young Nigerians free. So, we make it in such a way that, we make it in such a way that they are going to be taught leaders who will teach other leaders. So they have to be ready. They are going to pass through a screening. We have to be able to attract the right people who will be able to continue with the music in them, like sowing an ideology in their minds.
Right.
Okay. Right. I have a number of young persons who are that passionate, who will come on board for that. We don't have issues with the content, for example. Yes.
Can I ask what age group you're focused?
For example, on outside the pro bono right now, I do have different categories of people I mentor from about age 12 to 17, from about 17 to 20, and then from the point where they leave the university. You talk to the UCO members,
right?
Those who are in camp and those who are graduating from who are leaving NYSC, brother, the apathy.
If you're thinking from the same way I'm thinking, I've had that experience where I've spoken to a few people who have graduated from the National Youth Service Corps, and I was more embarrassed for them because we were trying to string conversations around certain things, even what they did. They couldn't make sense of what it is they've done.
Hey, bro, there are the biggest issue is they don't even know.
That's what I mean.
They don't even know.
And
the average, on the average, what they are thinking of is, make I blow.
Yeah.
I want blow.
Yeah, it's true.
That's his thinking.
It's true.
So where do we start from? So what I think is we just come up with the content is there, brother. Don't mess around. I have massive content. You can't imagine. But what I'm trying to say is this. Sometimes I tell some online, I said, this conversation we're having, I've exhausted it in an article.
Yep.
I sent the link. I said, tell me what you learn from reading this.
Yep.
I said, don't just read, study it.
Yeah.
Don't just study it, take notes.
Yeah.
Don't take notes, meditate.
Yeah.
Then is this something you want to implement?
Yeah.
A portion of it or something?
Yeah.
Because there's no learning unless there is change. Change in behavior. There has to be a shift in the paradigm. So if you're not shifting, you are not learning anything. Because when you begin to learn, there will be physical activity. it will be obvious that you have taken a bend, a turn from where you're coming from to, you understand now. So you become mindful of where it is you're going. You understand that now. And I think that there are hungry young Nigerians out there
Joseph, you're breaking up.
who will be willing to align with your gift. You don't know all of that. So look at the service mentality.
There is a situation where you identify the gift, obviously, where you have a gift and you have to amplify your gift, but you need mentoring, you need the right mindset, you need the right leadership to align to help you with your gift. You know, but the key thing is there needs to be a strategy as well. And I'm sure you agree with me on that. If
absolutely.
you spot a situation, or you spot an individual, or you look at from things from a holistic point of view, if you don't have a strategy, there's more or less you're going to fail on a level.
You're wasting your time.
Exactly. You know, so that strategy is what we've kind of highlighted on a level that, okay, you have to look at things as they are and then put something that would enhance it. When you talked about enhancing engagement, when you talked about engagement, we've identified over the last weeks that engagement needs to be enhanced, and that's exactly why we have this platform for starters. You know, and then you look at another situation. Okay, what are we driving from the platform to help actualize people's achievement? What we're doing is just trying to align. You said a few things that, for a fact, it was discussed last week Saturday. The stuff about, you know, having the content and having the right mind frame and having the right people to come together, and people who are making courses. So I'm pleased that you already have that as well going, because this is what we need, you know? Let's look at it again from, let's look at character mapping before we go into innovation, please. I think that would take us, you know, now mapping that character, that individual. The Nigerian is what it is. When we started this platform, they say, people ask the question, what do you mean by the new Nigerian? What happened with the old? And I'll take your words, and that's more or less what I said. I said, it's not a new Nigerian per se, it's a platform, right? What's wrong with the old? Nothing is wrong with the old. But if you are aligned with change, like you said, rightfully, if you change your mindset, what's going to happen after every change? Something new happens. You can't change something and don't get something new.
There's even no change without, there's even no learning without change. And change means a change in behavior.
Yeah, and that is
there has to be a shift.
A shift. When a shift happens, that shift, something new happens. This is the idea that we're sitting on, that new thing that happens when you listen to these kind of things is always tweaking your mind into something new. So if you have to map that character to align with initiatives like this, you know, entities like we are trying to put out, and obviously content that we have, if you're trying to do that, what is the best thing to start doing, especially from an individual in Nigeria now, to map that character towards that paradigm shift that we all need?
For example, we must be able to attract those who are hungry, those who are thirsty, those who know that they want to do something, they want to help themselves. I'll tell you something. I didn't know the grammar of the English language until after I graduated. I had to go teach it to myself.
I understand that completely.
It took me not less than 3 years of consistency.
To understand
writing,
and all that.
Reading, studying, and all of that. I even wonder how I didn't end up writing a book on grammar.
There you go.
You understand? So I knew what my need was. Right. So we must be willing to send out a dragnet, cast our net into the sea to attract the right talent, the people who are hungry and who are thirsty for engagement.
And that would obviously help with that mapping of the character, because by the time you identify these individuals, right, if they have the right attitude, you know, with the right mindset, then what you get, you're mapping that character towards success on a level. You're
yes. Now, sorry, later. The right mindset in this case now, just that are they hungry? Do they know that there's something? Is there something that I like? You know, when you taste a meal and it doesn't have salt, you know that I need salt. You know, and all that. You know.
That's a question I'm assuming you're asking me if they're hungry. But yes, they are hungry for physical food. We know that. That's
yes. Not that kind of hunger.
I know, but that's not what we're talking about. You know, because like you said, before, somebody will tell you. You ask.
I'm just giving an example.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah. I said, like we were saying before, you asked an individual a question, they just want to blow. But that's a different kind of hunger. We are talking about the hunger for knowledge, for progress,
mindset,
for certain levels of success, to a shift in your mindset. That is a desire, is a hunger that, you know, it's actually missing. I think it's missing in our environment as a collective now, right? So if we are saying, look, let's tell that hunger, or propel that hunger, so people actually know that they are hungry. Because what you have is a situation, you have a lot of things covering the hunger, so people don't see. You know, it's like if somebody wants to eat now, you're giving that person fried rice, but the guy has no idea that there's pounded yam somewhere. So until they see that there's pounded yam and taste it, and then realize, why have you been giving me all this when you have a full store of pounded yam there? It's the same kind of thing we're doing with education and knowledge in Nigeria. We're using old system under the guise of, okay, we're just educating our kids. But there's so much value that can be gotten from just mentoring, you know, from programming the mind correctly. You know, like
fantastic. Programming the mind.
Yeah.
Programming and reprogramming the mind.
Yeah, of course, because I told you,
a lot of unlearning has to happen.
Yeah. Physically, like we said, that obviously the programming on the mind is more or less a mental thing, but even on the physical level, there are things, there are courses, there are vocational attributes that you can instill in society that would reprogram these individuals as well, because of that
skills,
discipline, or skill, right? So let's look at it like, okay, fair enough, there is a lacking in character mapping, and hopefully with courses like yours and, you know, activities and initiatives that we are doing, we might help with the mapping of that Nigerian character. And it goes now to lead to what you were saying before. Now to get to that innovative state, right? Or rather to get to that creative state, because all of that is creative, right? There is a situation like you highlighted in your short but very powerful write-up. That thinking between creation and innovation. Do people actually understand the process that happens in between? You know,
a lot of things happen in there.
I know for a fact, because I do that. But you know, let's talk about this.
First of all, when I listen to many people I listen to who even talk creativity and innovation, lump both words together. Creativity is not the same thing as innovation.
No, it's not.
Creativity is ideation.
Yes.
How are you able to churn out ideas? Not a lot of people even know. There's something I do on my phone right now. I have folders. Every thought that comes to my mind, I put it down. Every thought that comes to my mind. All of those little quotes you see, I have folders where from one, the least a folder can take is 45, 50 quotes.
Oh,
right now I am on folder 54.
Awesome.
So what that means is that I deliberately don't allow thoughts to escape me.
Right.
Okay. So
that is a creative process as well.
Now, the point of creativity, these ideas just keep coming. They keep coming. Solution to you know that this can be a solution to this. I was trying to tell someone that why don't we have moving these thoughts? The person was doing something in Yoruba. I said, don't we have a software that can directly transcribe this Yoruba voice to writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I said that means there's a lot of work to do in that regard.
Right.
If you're on Google Map, for example,
Right.
in Lagos, and the way it pronounces Yoruba names is the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
The way to pronounce Igbo name. So
Yeah.
we probably need a software that will pronounce the word as it should be pronounced.
Right.
For example, these are just ideas.
Yeah, but I'll cut you short there. You see what you just did there. There's two things to highlight there. Now, using that text-to-speech example. Now,
Yes.
you thinking about that idea, yeah, you're getting creative there, right?
Yes.
So that's creativity on a level, because you're thinking about why can't they translate it to English or to a better, more accent, you know, than what
Yes.
this guy is saying. That's
Yeah.
innovative. But by the time you actualize that, you go through. If we say, okay, yeah, that's a project.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to now.
Yeah, let's do that project. Yeah.
So you have to be able to put that thought down first.
Best, yeah.
That thought, you must arrest it,
and
take it out of potential,
yeah,
and be seeing it on paper.
Yeah, and
You want
go on. What people don't understand is even that
the way it came to you. Just put it down.
Yes, first, right? And
Yeah.
then you start working. You get extra creative working on that idea, that thought.
Then,
but you don't get
you now begin to build it. The thoughts, you begin to add to the thoughts. You begin to ask questions, you begin to research, so in that process now, you're moving from, you now begin to look at, okay, of these things, you begin to break it into roles, responsibilities.
Yeah.
Who will do what? Who do we need to do this? Who do we need to do this? Then you begin to look at how you begin to attract those people. Now, what likely cost of the project?
Right.
What would this cost to do this, to get this done, But first, you must know exactly what it is you want to do. You have to document it. You have to keep developing it. You have to know the resources you need. You have to research it. You have to look for more information. You have to build it up. Then before you now get into the implementation stage, there's a pre-implementation. There's implementation. There's testing. Before you now come up with maybe the product itself. So that process.
At that, you still have to verify a few things before you release any kind of thing.
Yes.
For the innovation to show, from my point of view, because that's a lot of kind of like what I do as a professional. So before you even release that project, you still have to make sure that every level of creativity has been addressed. Because once that creativity has unlocked, what you're going to get is a very, very innovative solution. You know, so that's the thinking between those two. And as you can imagine, you know, like I said, reading up on that write-up, it got me really thinking. I said, okay, if you apply that on the physical world, you get something amazing, something brilliant. You get a fantastic product, don't you? For instance, stuff we're doing, it's the same process. You know, we started on the creative side. It's so amazing because the conversations about the whole platform is live for everybody to see. So if you listen to our first 2-3 podcasts, we're thinking, okay, this is what we can do, blah, blah. We were getting creative. And then we moved into being innovative with it. Even up to now, you still see the continuous improvement process in the background, which is being innovative.
Yeah.
All of this can be applied to the mind.
True.
And this is where I think a whole lot of value can be unlocked from our conversation. All of the process of being creative and innovative, it can be applied to the mind of a child, of an adult, even of an 80-year-old man. And it will change that individual if they understand that process of being creative with your thoughts, you know, be tenacious with that creativity. And then when you decide to actualize it at the end, your mind becomes as innovative as you can imagine with your grammar, with your engagements, with your communications, because you've creatively put that effort into being an innovative thinker.
Deliberately.
Yeah, deliberately, you know? So I think that is a good place to say, hey, look, we have to have a continuation of this at some point.
I believe so.
It has been a very, very amazing hour. Just getting to know how you work, how your mindset is. And the most thing I've gotten from here today is that I'm so pleased that we have individuals like you who are taking the time out to design these innovative and creative processes for others to value from it. Because you've taken that decision and you know it's missing, you know?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Joseph, unfortunately, we'd have to leave it as it is today, but I would like to have your consent to say, look, should we have another conversation that actually goes a deep dive into these creative and innovative?
I am ready when you're ready.
Awesome. You know, I would put that together and probably feed it back to you. And
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to working with you on a level based on what you're already doing. And maybe have some alignment there.
That's fantastic.
Excellent. Well,
Thank you, Aleto.
thanks for your time. And I would definitely keep that on going. And
Right.
yeah, thanks, man. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.